Hello everyone, we are Group 3 and today we are going to give a presentation on the topic of varieties in English pronunciation. First, let's get to know our group members. We have 5 members. They are Đậu Đình Hoàng, Thị Hoài, Bùi Lê Lâm Hương, Mai Hương and Phạm Thị Hương. With this topic, it has 3 main parts that are variety and dialects, the RP accent, and the last one is British English and American English pronunciation. Now, let's move to the first part of our presentation, which is presented by Lê Hương.
Hi, my name is Mai Hương. The following in my presentation. First, we will learn about variety and dialects. Dialects is a regional variety of language distinguished by features of vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation from other regional variety and constituting together with them a single language. Variety is a variant of English which is considered standard or general English of a country on the national level. Next slide, we will learn about the difference between phonetic and phonological. Phonological is a system of constructing relationship between the speech sound that constitutes the basic component of language. It studies how sounds are combined to form words and what sounds alternate in different languages. It also studies the stock of sound and their characteristics in a language and with parametric rules that determine how sound interact with each other. Phonology is also concerned with the history and theory of sound change in a language or two or more related languages.
What is the difference between phonetics and phonology? Phonetics deals with the production of speech sounds by humans, often without prior knowledge of the language being spoken. Phonology is about patterns of sounds, especially different patterns of sounds in different languages, or within each language, different patterns of sounds in different positions in words, etc.
That's my part. Next, Đậu Đình Hoàng to continue the presentation.
Now, let's move to the second part, which is the RP accent, presented by me, Đậu Đình Hoàng. So, what is an RP accent? Received pronunciation, also known as RP, is the traditional pronunciation that is considered the standard for British English and is easy to distinguish. RP also has other names such as Oxford English or BBC English and is a very similar accent to the Queen's English. To better understand this definition, let's watch this video.
If you happen to study British pronunciation at university, chances are you studied traditional RP. I did. RP stands for Received Pronunciation. It started to develop at the beginning of the 19th century and became a distinguishing language feature among Britain's social elite. It took its features from how the upper class spoke in the London area and in the south of England. It then spread across the country and became a social phenomenon rather than a regional one. In the 20th century, this type of pronunciation was also often called BBC pronunciation or BBC English, because this was the kind of pronunciation that was expected from BBC TV and radio hosts. Other names include Standard RP and also Oxford English, although the latter is probably more about language in general rather than pronunciation only. So Oxford English is also about vocabulary and grammar.
Now, let's move to the next part, which is the RP vowel system. As you can see on the slide, there are 25 vowels, including 12 monophthongs, 8 diphthongs, and 5 triphthongs in the RP vowel system. Although there are no geographical differences in RP, there are variations in other kinds. Conservative and advanced are the terms which are commonly used to describe different kinds of RP. While older speakers tend to use conservative pronunciation, younger speakers tend to use advanced pronunciation. Some of the differences are presented as follows. The first one is the distinction between or is now lost for many speakers with becoming monophthong-like. The second one is there are a strong tendency for original triphthong from I and OU plus to be pronounced as monophthongs. This progress can be labeled smoothing. The third one is where orthographic or occur before the voiceless fricative f, th, z, s. Older speakers sometimes pronounce the vowel as o. This pronunciation is currently dying out in RP and being replaced by o. Next, conservative RP has a back vowel u in word but for younger speakers, the vowel may increasingly be fronted in the direction of u, except before Next, the diphthong o varies considerably, ranging from o among conservative speakers to o among some advanced speakers. Perhaps the most neutral pronunciation is around o. The sixth is the diphthong o is very often monophthong-like to a. 7. Middle-aged and younger speakers tend to omit the j after s before u, but this tendency is much stronger in some word suites. Words internally j tend to be retained. There is also fluctuation after l. And the last one is there is an increasingly tendency for u to be pronounced with an unrounded vowel u. And that is the end of my presentation. Next, Bùi Lê Lâm Hương, please continue the presentation.
Hi everyone, I'm Lâm Hương. Today I will present about vowel and consonant in RP accent. The first vowel in the RP accent. Typical difference between the RP vowel system and main RP sound of English accent are the following. The E of B rather than the E of bit occur in the final syllable of very or many in the near RP accent. The fronting of U toward U is more widespread than in RP. The vowel E in abstract syllable in the RP often correspond to in the RP accent. Speakers with non-near RP accent are likely to differ from RP in one important phonological respect. And the last one, some speakers from in the Midland and north of England may have local accent with lack of vowel, R of put, and hurry. Now let's watch some videos.
E, U, U. E, U, U. E and E, followed by E. E, E. E, E.
And now I will tell you about RP consonant. The L sound, one feature of the RP accent, which is shared with many other English accent and those of other English varieties. The M sound, both English accent, has lost the original contrast as in which, will. And the T sound, in many varieties of English in the British, the consonant T sound may be realized at a glottal stop, except at the beginning of a stressed syllable. And the last one, the R sound. It is well known some English accents are rhotic or are full, and other are non-rhotic or alert. Speaker of many non-rhotic accents while not pronouncing the orthographic are word finally before a pause or before a consonant do pronounce where there is following word which begin with a vowel. Now let's watch some videos like example. That's it of my part. Next, please Hoài continue the videos.
Hello everyone, my name is Hoài. Today I would like to talk about Britain English and American English pronunciation. There are three main distinctions between American and Britain English pronunciation. There are different in vowel, consonants, stress, and intonation. Vocabulary. They are different in the use or using of noun and verb, especially for verb, and the name of person or item. Spelling. They are different in some prefix and suffix form. Consonant style. Pronunciation are different between American English and Britain English. According is how pronunciation her and C are pronunciation silent her. In many cases, when pronouncing American English, we will note the word sharp, and when pronouncing is by his still pronouncing it fully. Example: Britain English car, American English car. Britain English park, American English park. When pronouncing in Britain English, the tongue is more clear than when pronunciation in American English. Example: Britain English red, American English red.
Hi everyone, I'm Phạm Thị Hương and member of Group 3. Today I will talk about the vowel sound and vowel length. First is vowel sound. According to Herson, many of the 20 vowel sounds in British English and American English are extremely similar. However, there are 8 sounds with distinct differences. The following comparison of vowel sounds between British English and American English are taken and adapted from his article on American with British pronunciation. Go, go, note, note, sound, sound. Next is vowel length. There is a greater difference in British English and British English between the lengths of vowel sound, with some being pronounced significantly longer than their American counterpart. Some of this is because the R sound is as to many American vowel sounds as in a pause. Most phonetic charts frequently sit by sounding 5 or 6 English vowel sound with the particular dots, where most charts do not often sit for American English. Bar, bar, coat, cut, need, need, zoo, zoo.
Street and intonation. Street. Some work particular genre of orange are employed differently in American English, with the last syllable treated in American English and the first syllable treated in Britain English. Example: Britain English, ballad. American English, ballad, ballad. Intonation: there is a structure of speech in Britain English and American English is really intonation. There is a structure of speech in Britain English and American English is relatively similar. Similarity are considerably different. Britain often implies the main stress that lower it. American English often comes up from the main stress.